Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Tonight I'm kind of just going to be reading off my phone. I finally got a webcam for my laptop. So things are going to be a little different as I am going to be scrolling and reading through my phone. Tonight I'm going to focus on relationships and breakups. I'm sorry if I mess up a lot. I am exhausted. It is 2:30 in the morning and I just got my daughter to go to sleep. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first story and we will go from there. Am I the ass considering breaking up with my girlfriend over her new dog? My 24 male girlfriend, 24 female, of 6 years recently got a new puppy and it is causing a lot of tension in our relationship. To preface, most other aspects of our relationship are great. Like anyone who has been in a relationship for 6 years, we have had rough patches, but I plan on proposing in a few months. I legitimately feel like she is my soulmate and the love of my life. However, the biggest point of tension between us has been our viewpoints on getting a pet. My girlfriend is an extremely nurturing person who loves dogs. She works night shift and has repeatedly told me she feels like she needs a dog for her mental health, so that she has some companionship on the nights she is off and I am unable to stay up with her. We have been living together for the past 2 years, but have waited to get a dog for 3 reasons. 1. I have been in an extremely competitive graduate school program and taking on all the extra work that comes with a dog was a non-starter for me while I was in school. 2. We live in a small apartment where there is barely enough room for the 2 of us sometimes. It's not the ideal place to adopt a dog. And 3. When I lived at home during undergrad, my parents separated, both got dogs, and most of the responsibility fell on me because I was not working a full-time job and was only in college. COVID kept me in virtual classes, but I regularly took 18-hour semesters. Because of that, I remember exactly how much work getting a dog is and how you can suddenly become a caretaker of your housemate's dog if they work full-time and you do not. I am currently studying for my professional license full-time, but because I do not physically leave the home to do so, I'm still worried about it going the same way. However, I really want my girlfriend to be happy, and it pains me to feel that her mental health is suffering because I won't let us get a dog. After 2 years of living together and asking her to wait, I finished graduate school in May, and we began seriously talking about getting a dog. While my graduation does eliminate some of my concern about the dog, it obviously has not eliminated all of them. I tried to gently point out my remaining concerns, such as the limited space we live in, and whether she will be able to take care of the dog with her night shift schedule. While I was willing to help out, dogs are not nocturnal animals, so necessarily the vast majority of the work will fall at a time when she is asleep, and I am the only one up to take care of it. I was clear with her that if she wants a dog, I don't want a repeat of what happened with my parents. I expect her to be its primary caregiver. Unfortunately, I do agree if you do not have the space for a dog, even if it's a small dog, you don't need a dog. Like, apartments just aren't a place for a dog because then you gotta walk them all the time. You really need to have a little bit of land or at least a backyard so you can kind of let them out and do their business when you don't really have the time to walk them, because as you are a graduate, you're probably going to be going to get a career soon, and you're going to be working all day, and then she's going to be working all night, and neither of you will have the time for a dog at the moment. At this point, I should state in my girlfriend's defense, she never explicitly told me she would break up with me if we did not get a dog. However, what she did tell me was, I feel like I give all the time in this relationship and you never give and never think of me. I need you to put my needs ahead of yours just this once. Further, when I pointed out my reservations in these discussions, she became inconsolable and uncharacteristically emotional and would only start talking to me again if I gave in on my concerns. While she did not give me an ultimatum in so many words, those factors taken together made me feel like there was one there. So not wanting to end a 6-year relationship over a dog, I foolishly caved and agreed to let us have a dog. We adopted recently, and ever since it came home, there has been nothing but strife in our relationship. I am more miserable than I have ever been in this relationship. I love my girlfriend, but I hate this dog. It has consumed my every waking moment, and despite my best efforts, I am already feeling some resentment because of it. She does not understand that as difficult as it is when she is here, anytime she is out of the apartment or asleep, it is 10 times worse, because it has latched onto her and is freaking out. And on top of that, she is upset with me that I don't take every opportunity to bond with it. I understand that I really messed up by not holding my ground earlier. In hindsight, if she would have broken up with me over a dog, we were not as compatible as we thought we were. But after 6 years of dating someone, the thought of breaking up is so world-shattering that sometimes you do drastic and stupid things to try to save the relationship. In all honesty, she can take the dog with her. She doesn't need to be staying there when it's latched onto her and you're not happy. It's either leave her or figure something out. Maybe try to get the dog into like a doggy daycare. It's almost like a daycare for kids, but for dogs. Have her take it there during the day, and at night it can either sleep with you or kennel train it to where it goes in the kennel, and that is its safe space whenever she is not home. Lots of people do it. Sometimes you just have to. Now I am in an even bigger problem. I cannot and will not ask her to rehome the dog after getting attached to it. I don't think that would be good for anyone involved. She says she is blindsided that I have not taken to the dog like she has, and is already questioning whether I will be a good father later on down the road if I cannot handle this. I try to point out that it is very different because having a child is something I want to do for the intrinsic value of bringing another human being into the world, not something I would be doing to help anyone's mental health. But she feels like since I caved earlier, she cannot trust me anymore. She immediately told all of her family that I do not like the dog, and they have been telling her it is a red flag. That is not a red flag. You already said you don't have time. The house is not big enough. And yeah, you just graduated college, but you're about to enter a career, so you will not be home to take care of this dog. It sounds like she has not properly trained it for kennel training for when she's not home. And it sounds like either she needs to put it in a doggy daycare for when she's not home or figure something else out. Unfortunately, that is how it is. I have 4 dogs of my own, and I have to take care of them because they are my responsibility. I really want to put her needs first, but I am seriously concerned that I will grow incredibly resentful as time goes on. As I told her both before and after we got the dog, I do not feel that the anxiety and depression she felt because she did not have a dog versus the physical responsibility that comes with having a dog that I will be shouldering are a one-to-one exchange. I really do not want to break up with her over a dog, but I feel like I can see the writing on the wall here. Am I the ass? So no, I don't think you are. She pretty much forced you into it. It was either me or we get me a dog. Me or we get a dog or I leave. That's it. There was no communication about, okay, well then let's get a bigger place. Or, okay, well then I will try to transfer my shifts to the daytime. There was no discussion. There was no, like, you tried, but there was no, the words. You tried to communicate that there was a problem, but she did not give in anywhere. She gave no leeway. She had no communication from her side because she just wanted the dog. It was either you have me or you don't. and that's not okay. Unfortunately, there are no comments below this, otherwise I would read some. But no, I do not think that you are at all the asshole in this situation, as she kind of forced you into it. But I would honestly, at this point, she's threatening you and talking crap about you behind your back. I honestly would just leave her. Tell her to pack her stuff and get out of your apartment. Or maybe you need to leave the apartment. I don't know how y'all had things going, but if you're not happy, you honestly just need to leave. Okay. On to the next story. Am I the ass for walking off after my boyfriend joked about not wanting to marry me in front of my coworkers? Throwaway because he has read it. Reposting because it was taken down. I, 23 and female, have been dating my boyfriend, Apollo, fake name, for 2 years. But we've known each other since elementary school. We've been through a lot together. Family drama, me moving out on my own, figuring out adult life, and he's been my rock through most of it. We're even planning a trip together for next weekend. Marriage has always been a part of our future plans, and it's never been a point of conflict. I work in a small office, just 5 people. It's a very specific niche, so when I got hired about 6 months ago, 2 other people were hired at the same time. It's a close group. When I started, Apollo would pick me up from work every Monday and Thursday, but it slowly became every day he had college. I really enjoy those little rides home, sharing our days. Today, a few hours ago, he came to pick me up, like usual. I was so happy to see him. I was happy, walked up with my coworkers and boss beside me. We had all just left the office, and gave him a kiss before sitting down next to him. My coworkers know him already from happy hours he joined us and other pickups, so they started chatting with both of us. Conversations shifted to marriage and long-term relationships. We'd actually been talking about that earlier at work, and I had mentioned that I wanted to get married. I even said it was something Apollo and I had been planning for next year. Then one of my closer coworkers turned to him and asked, "What about you, Apollo? Excited for marriage?" And he smiled and said, "Me? No, God forbid. I'm going to be hiding at my cousin's house." It was clearly a double-meaning joke. Everyone laughed except me. My face dropped immediately, and everyone noticed. I didn't laugh, I didn't say anything, I just shut down. After most of my coworkers left, Apollo kept talking to my boss about trouble. Even my boss noticed I was off. He patted me on the back and told me not to take it personally. After my boss left, it was just the 2 of us. We sat in silence until he asked if I was mad at him. I said yes, obviously. He stayed quiet for a while, like he usually does when things get tense. Then eventually apologized and said it was meant as a joke, but my night was already ruined. I asked him if it was funny enough to be worth it, grabbed my drink, and started walking home. He followed me and said we could still talk about it. I asked him why he said that, and all he said was, "I'd rather stay silent." So I kept walking. Halfway home, he ordered me an Uber. I didn't say anything. I was just really hurt. I know he said it was a joke, but it felt like he made fun of something deeply personal, in front of my boss and coworkers, no less. It caught me completely off guard. I got completely shaken off, especially since it came from nowhere. So am I the ass being incredibly hurt and walking away, and leaving him there instead of letting it go? I apologize for bad English, as it is not my first language. Okay, your English was amazing. Honestly, I have issues, and it is my only language. So, I don't feel like that was a joke. Men know that they're going to marry the woman they're with after like 6 months. If it hasn't happened yet, it probably won't, especially because he's running his mouth and saying that he'll be hiding at his cousin's house. That's not how it works. So, I'm sorry, but that is awful. How can you say that in front of somebody's, like, boss and coworkers? Like, that is horrible. Like, you should be excited and talk it up. Not talk crap. Okay, so one of the comments, not the asshole, he wasn't joking. He intentionally wanted to embarrass you by that comment. He thought he was being funny, but he knew it would hurt you and said it anyway. Another comment, my question is, what did he mean by I'd rather stay silent? Not the asshole. First of all, ask him what was funny about insulting your girlfriend in front of her coworkers. Second, why would he ever try to make a joke about not wanting to marry her? If he really cared, he would have seen how much that bothered you and immediately apologized in front of your friends, taken responsibility for the bad taste comment, and then made up for it by explaining all the things he was excited about with your wedding, marrying you, spending the rest of his life with you, etc. People make dumb comments, but if you do, you immediately take responsibility and show how it was a joke and that you actually mean something different and how. I expect that if he'd excitedly gone through a list of things he was looking forward to with you, someday we'll have a home together. I love the idea of waking up next to her every day and sharing our life together. Someday we're going to have kids, and I love the idea of seeing her as a mom. That you would have dismissed the crappy joke and been happier. He just showed you how little he respects you, your feelings, and your plans. He showed you that he was willing to humiliate you just to make himself look good. Dump him and find a partner with more maturity than a 13-year-old. Am I the ass for turning up at the house my partner's car was at when he told me he was going somewhere else? Me and this man had been together for just over 3 years. I suspected nothing. He told me he was going over to one of his guy friends' houses, a guy friend who I know and whose house I know. He left, and around 2 hours later, my friend texted me saying, "Who does partner know who lives on street name?" I said, "As far as I'm aware, nobody. Why?" She told me his car was parked in the driveway of a house on a certain street in our town. So clearly he wasn't at his friend's house. I don't know if this is psycho behavior, but I asked for the address and I went there. I don't know why I didn't text him first or anything like that to see if he'd lie, or maybe he and his friend had gone to another person's house. I have no idea. But as soon as my friend said that, I just got in my car and went to see if it was his car. It was. I sat down the street and then texted him asking if he was having a good time. He texted back straight away and said he was, and that he and his friends were building his new PC together. So I knew instantly he was lying. I went over to the house and knocked on the door. A woman answered. I have no idea who she was, but I could tell by the way her face dropped that she knew exactly who I was. I kept my shit together and just said, "Tell him his shit will be on the front lawn when he wants to come and get it," and I left. Another hour passed and he came home while I was gathering up his things. He had the nerve to instantly start kicking off at me, telling me that me going there was psycho and that I was crazy for pulling that stunt. I didn't say anything, just carried on gathering his things. He kept telling me to stop, and I didn't. He got in front of me and said stop, and that's when I lost it. I shoved him away from me and started crying, told him to get his shit and get out. I then locked myself in my office room and waited for him to leave. This happened last night. Some of his shit is still here. He didn't take much. Seems he just took a bunch of his clothes and his toiletries. Haven't heard from him and haven't texted him either. But was I the turning up at this house he was at? No. You weren't, in all honesty. If he didn't want to be caught, he would have done a little better. Maybe kept his car at his friend's house. It sounds like maybe his friend didn't even know, and he's a liar and a cheater, and I would just leave him. Don't even give him a response. Throw the rest of his shit out on the corner. Post it on Facebook, free shit, put a cardboard up. He's left it there. That's on him. Update. Thought I'd give a small update. He texted me late last night asking if we could talk. I said no. He showed up at my house at 7:30 this morning, to get more of his things. He was quiet and then asked again if we could just talk for a minute. I told him to say what he needed to say. He said sorry, lol, and proceeded to tell me that he was going to tell me. Turns out he's been seeing this girl for the last 4 months. He said he wasn't happy in our relationship, but couldn't or wouldn't give me any good reason why. So my guess is that he literally just got bored of me after 3 years. This girl is a lot younger than me, so that's another reason why I think he decided he wanted her more than me, even though he gave no signs that he was unhappy. When I say I didn't suspect anything, I mean that. I told him that if he was unhappy, he should have broken up with me, then started seeing this girl instead of cheating on me. He said it was complicated. In regards to people saying and questioning in the comments why my friend would even bother texting me, asking why my partner's car was parked in the drive of some random house, I don't know what to tell you. We live in a fairly small town. She happened to be driving down this street because she was delivering something to someone's house because she was selling something on Facebook Marketplace, and she clocked his car. He has a unique colored car. And just decided to ask me who he knew who lived on that street. I don't think that's too odd of a thing to do personally, especially with us living in a smaller town. It was dumb on his part, if anything. Exactly. He should have left his car somewhere else and walked there. Especially if you're saying it's a small town, he could have parked his car at Walmart. And you probably wouldn't have thought anything. To those questions, did I really not suspect a thing? No, honestly, I didn't. His friend, who he said he was going to visit, is someone he visits often and always has in our relationship. This guy friend of his best friend, it turns out knew he was fucking around with this girl. So he's another... Exactly. He should have just left his car there if he didn't want to get caught. It was his stupidity. I don't know why I instantly went over to this house. It was nothing to do with me subconsciously suspecting he was cheating. I literally didn't have a clue. I just did what I did on pure curiosity alone. Because in that moment it was clear he'd lied to me because he said he was going to his boy's house and he obviously didn't. So he just has no respect for you. He lied to you, especially when you already kind of asked how was things going. Like, that should have been the hint, especially if you've never texted him before. There's absolutely no reason for him to be acting the way that he did. He shouldn't be going at you saying that he was unhappy when he never even told you and you couldn't tell. That's his problem, not yours at this point, and he should have broken up with you. Just because you're miserable, that doesn't give you the right to, cheat. Leave. If you're that miserable and unhappy, leave. Cheating is sick. I'm proud for you for standing up for yourself. I'm sorry. Okay. Here's a comment. Not the asshole. Throw his stuff on the lawn and change the locks. Reply. Throw it in the bin. Nah, donate his clothes and stuff to Goodwill. Let some good come out of it. Nah, donate his clothes and stuff to Goodwill. Let some good come out of this. Change all your locks, Wi-Fi, passwords, and get cameras if he comes around. Again. Also, make sure he is removed from any utilities and financials. Someone else gave a good suggestion to get tested for any STDs. OP, in most places it is illegal to do this. If he has established a tenancy there, you cannot deny him access to his home. You must go through the process to end his tenancy. Doesn't matter if it's just you on the deed lease. Doesn't matter if he never paid rent. If he lived there long enough, his mail packages delivered there, then he has established tenancy and must be evicted. You could get lucky and he just accepts you kicking him out and leaves voluntarily. But don't count on it or think it's within your rights to force him. They have a point. Always be careful of that. Unfortunately, that's how things go. you could just have a contract signed up and get them to sign it in front of a notary and the notary to sign it, and then they gotta get out. Am I the asshole for asking my husband to switch around his morning routine so I can sleep? My 27 female husband, 28 male, and I had our first baby boy 4 months ago. Even before I got pregnant, my husband made breakfast for us every morning. My daughter was also born 4 months ago, so that's awesome. I usually take care of night wakings because I breastfeed, but occasionally he'll wake up and change the baby for me. He's also very involved as a husband and father. I have no complaints generally. Before my husband goes to the kitchen to make breakfast, he likes to shower and get ready for the workday. Our baby has started having a sleep regression, so the nights have been harder lately for me, and I've been really tired during the day. I am so sorry. The 4-month sleep regression is awful. Sometimes after the morning feed, the baby will go back to sleep, usually for only an hour or less, so I try to go back to sleep too. My husband insists on my eating a proper breakfast, but sometimes eating breakfast cuts into my sleep time. This morning I asked my husband if he could make breakfast first and shower afterwards so that I could eat sooner and get back to bed ASAP. However, he flat out refused, saying he just wants to be ready before he goes out to the kitchen. I feel a bit annoyed because I don't think it's unreasonable for me to ask him to switch things around so I can get as much extra sleep as I can. He said I was being rude because I acted annoyed by his refusal, but I feel like he could be more flexible about it. I'm just tired. Am I the asshole? No, in all honesty, showering before you cook breakfast, which you could be cooking eggs, bacon, sausage, like, some things can get greasy and it kind of just, the grease pops all over you, which just makes you kind of greasy and nasty feeling, or at least it does me. I have texture issues. I can't stand feeling oily or greasy. So technically I feel like he should shower after anyway, so he is 100% freshly clean for work. And it's not unreasonable. You are asking him a question. Edit for info. I understand this isn't a big issue by any means. My 5 a.m. brain was just tired and frustrated with a bad night's sleep. I never considered maybe it's the connection he's looking for. That's a good point. Timing. Usually I'm up nursing when he wakes up, so he doesn't wake me. It's always a gamble putting the baby to bed in the morning, so I get anxious when I can't go back to bed right away. That's why I asked, so I could maybe eat while nursing and get back to bed sooner. Reheating would work for most things. I have an aversion to reheated eggs, which is my own problem, and I could definitely just get some toast or something when I wake up. It's the hubby that insists on a nutritious breakfast, and I appreciate that. I don't like eggs at all, so the fact that you just don't like them reheated, I absolutely get it. I don't like the taste. I don't like the texture. I'm sorry. Eggs are gross. As for whoever said I should just be thankful he makes breakfast, I am. We both take care of housework, cooking, and childcare depending on the day. He spoils me, but I spoil him too, and we both express our thanks daily. But there's no reason we can't both adapt if needed to make things even better. Thanks for comments so far. We'll figure out a solution for sure. My head feels clearer after a little more sleep. Edit 2. I'm going to talk to my husband later and may delete the post. I know it's against the rules before 48 hours, but this will probably be my first and last post. Thanks for the insight, everyone. So this was posted over 48 hours ago. I don't think you're in the wrong, considering you are still healing from giving birth to your child. Like, you had a wound in your uterus the size of a dinner plate, which is bigger than my head, in your womb, in your uterus. So you're still healing. And yeah, you need that nutritious breakfast so you have the energy during the day to take care of your child. But the fact that he's not letting you sleep, which is even more important because you need the brain power to take care of your child every day, is kind of rude. Like, it's just, It's ridiculous. Here's a comment. Y'all have no problem solving skills. Just haven't put your breakfast in a container in the fridge and you can eat whenever you get up. So, she did say something about that. I assume that's what the edit was about. He insists that she eats before he leaves for work. So she doesn't get that extra sleep. Yeah, she's home with the baby. She can probably take a nap throughout the day. But sometimes, once they hit 4 months and they're at that sleep regression, guys, they sleep for 20 minutes. Or even 10 minutes. Like, I'll lay my daughter down, and I will go to the bathroom, and I will come back, and she will be awake. Well, that's it for tonight. And I will be putting a picture at the end of my videos, and it has the email that you can send your own stories to, or you can comment them below. I'm just trying to have some fun out here. So, if you guys like my videos, like them, comment your own stories, I'll read them. Other than that, I'll be going through Reddit.